Hello everybody, hello one and all. It's 10 years today, April the 1st, 2001, when WrestleMania 17 first appeared on our screens. And yes, I am so happy because I watched this event once again, like I do every year. But seeing as it was such a significant event that 10 years ago, the biggest pay-per-view event ever happened, I thought I had to do a video for it. And being the wrestling fan I am, I have the original video, the original DVD. Yeah, if I can get the camera right. There. You can see it's got the WWF insignia. There is the original discs in the original form and the original little fold thingy. I am really pleased to own this after so many years of owning it that I felt making a 10th anniversary video knowing the influence and brilliance this pay-per-view has done over the years. It's risen in stature to become the greatest WrestleMania of all time. But many often debate whether it's the best WrestleMania of all time. Some say it is hilariously overrated, and some will say it is the greatest ever without a shadow of a doubt. I'm one of those people who stick this into the latter, and I'm very happy to stick it in that latter category, because there are a lot of things about WrestleMania X7 that hold well for me. One, I'm going to list 5 things here. I'm happy how I did my last video. I'll do the exact same for everything I've done here. 1, that all the matches on the card were good in some way or another. Now, I know all of you are obviously going to say, well, I believe this match was good, but this match was shit. Yeah, the Gimmick Battle Royal wasn't the best in the world, but it had a good amount of entertainment value to it, and in that case, it was worth it in that way. Seeing Bobby Heenan back on the headset again, great thing to see. The China Ivory match, at least you got to see China win the women's title after so long wondering when the hell is she ever going to damn win that thing. It was worth it just to see it. I think even the really low down ones, APA and Taz versus Right to Censor even had its moments. Will Buchanan's springing clothesline right at the start of the match, probably the best part of it. But you see, even the bad matches had something good about them. The matches all glowed and they all felt special because for some reason the build up to them just had it all, and I think that's a great thing. Second, Paul Heyman's commentary, probably one of the best pieces of commentary display I've ever seen. He got under JR's skin so much, he was able to get behind the heels and make them sound more evil than they were. His knowledge of wrestling, his knowledge of wrestling maneuvers, wrestling companies, wrestling championships. He referenced New Japan Pro Wrestling when in the Benoit Angle match, and he referenced all kinds of championship pieces that I completely forgot about in other matches. Now this is phenomenally brilliant because not many commentators nowadays even bother doing that, especially in WWE. So that was a fantastic thing. Heyman did a fantastic job as commentator, and I absolutely loved what he did here. Really happy that when I first saw this DVD 5 or 6 years ago that it did happen. Number 3, the small stage made the Astrodome look bigger, and which is, in my opinion, a scope win. Yay! And for the best part, you could see people actually behind the stage in their seats. I mean, how awesome is that? Because you can see most arenas, most big pay-per-views now for WWE. The stages are so big, you can't, it takes up a quarter of the stadium's or arena's capacity. To see that even behind this little structure, little structure, there was still people sitting behind it enjoying the show. That made me smile. I didn't even realise how big the damn thing was until I actually saw the giant bird's eye view of all the fans. That was the only time I ever realised, holy shit, this place is big. And that small stage kind of capitalised how big the place is. This giant stage makes it you think, this isn't a really big arena, is it? Number 4, the hype was massive, because every match was built in a way where it was separated from one another. Every match, Stone Cold Rock, Undertaker Triple H, Benoit Angle, TLC 2, all had it, and McMahon vs McMahon, and a load of others, all had their own separate build-up that did not mix in with other matches like you often see when you come into WrestleMania time. You often see them training in and out of other feuds. These are all unique feuds in their own right, and it was great to see that WWE hyped it to oblivion, and it worked. Number 5, and probably the most important of all, the crowd were hot for the majority of this event. I think, for the best part, it was brilliant, because even in the bad matches, you could hear the crowd. They were really happy with what they were seeing. I know that even nowadays at WrestleMania and at most WWE pay-per-views, you only hear the crowd go mental at the beginning and the end of the match, or in the middle when something epic happens. You hardly ever hear a crowd go mental nowadays, and that's really bad for everything, because fan participation is what's so important. Looking at WrestleMania X7 and thinking, I looked at it, watching it earlier today, thinking, what are the best matches on the card? I think it's easy to pinpoint the 5 best, because they all happened at the end of the card. Well, all of them apart from one, obviously. Now, I had to debate with myself quite a bit over which one I thought was the best. Now, this was down to 2 matches, the main event and TLC 2. So, I decided in the end to go with Austin Rock 2, because that match had just about everything. It didn't have a massive spot, but it was a brawl, it was a hardcore match, it had submission moves, it had great athleticism on both ends, it had great showing of endurance and durability by The Rock, McMahon of course coming in to make Austin's heel turn happen. It was in and out, action all the way. You were not bored at all by the end of this. It was fantastic, and I'm telling you, I only realised after a couple of years of watching, holy crap, there is an Austin Rock match at the end of this, because I never actually ended up watching it, because I always went to the other matches and didn't really visit that one. So yeah, it was my mistake of not viewing it beforehand, but I realised how epic that match was. People will often say that WrestleMania 19 was better, WrestleMania 15 was better. My opinion, WrestleMania 17 knocks it right out of the park. Number 2, of course, TLC 2. Now, of course, I am a giant Spotfest fan. If this is on my favourite match of all time list on my channel, so you'll know that's there. And I just love spots. Big spots, so many of them, and I kind of go, oh god, every time something big is going to happen. Going through the tables at the end, Edge spearing Jeff Hardy, being smacked in the head with a chair. TLC is something I absolutely love, and this match, including the inclusions of Rhino, Spike, and Lita, just made it an absolute clusterfuck, but at the same time made it even more enjoyable and more frantic, trying to keep up with what everyone was doing. Manic, fantastic, and the best of the first three matches that would be technically called TLC and the Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania, respectively. Number 3, of course, you'd think I'd put this in the top 3, wouldn't you? Angle versus Benoit. Now, I'm a mat wrestling fan. I like submission-based wrestling, so this is basically the crown jewel for me. Fantastic amateur wrestling at the start, great takedowns and holds. The crowd, surprisingly for me, gave a really warm reception for this. Now, I thought, oh, wrestling, and they go, wait, this isn't what we're usually expecting. This is something that they know. Holy crap. And it's just the audience gave it a, yes, well done. A Colosseum type applause. And that really gave the match a real nice effect to it. Made it feel it was being respected. And it was really worth seeing, because they turned into a brawl, turned into a submission, back and forth, ankle lock, crossface, multiple suplexes. It was a fantastic match, and it just never gets tiring to me to see Benoit and Angle go at it, because they are the best. Number 4, McMahon versus McMahon street fight. In terms of entertainment value, you had it all. Cat fight with Trish and Stephanie, Linda getting out of her chair, which surprisingly had the biggest pop of the night, kicking in the balls. Vince getting his ass kicked, which we all like to see, and Shane McMahon's ridiculously risk-taking bumps through the announce table, and then, of course, the coast-to-coast. You look at that and think, yeah, that's entertainment right there. It may not be the best match at all, but when you look at the entertainment value, it's spot-on good. Because WWE nowadays tries to make the entertainment and more from the sport. At least in some cases, a wrestling match like Angle Benoit is where the sport kicks in. McMahon v McMahon, you've got the entertainment factor bang on. And finally, number 5 is Taker versus Triple H 1. Now, this is basically just brawl, punch, I'm better than you, sledgehammer, outside area, bang. That's literally it. And it has some great moves. I still find it sickening when Triple H whacks a sledgehammer right bang on the head of Undertaker, because apparently he said this a few years back, that was the only time, I think it was a WWF video that I found, that he said that was the only time he'd ever hit someone in the head full on with that sledgehammer. No wonder, you can hear the bloody smack on it. Not to mention the entrances were nice. Motorhead was fantastic playing, even though I do prefer seeing Lemmy with a bloody handlebar moustache. It does work. It wasn't the best match ever, but it really got the crowd going, and I got going because I tried to get behind Triple H a little bit, even though I knew he was going to lose. It did make Triple H look weak, though. Put that in comparison to WrestleMania 19, of course, when Booker T got his ass kicked. The aftermath of this event, of course, being the infamous Invasion storyline, whichever way you look at it, and showcasing life of WWE as a single wrestling entity, because it was. No TNA until 2002. No Ring of Honor, I think, until either 2003, 2004. So, and ECW was, of course, folding at this time, meaning, in effect, that WWE is the only big thing around now. All these guys were coming in and ready to make their mark when others would probably have just gone over in the Monday Night Wars. That obviously didn't happen anymore. Now they're all there. I think that the Invasion storyline was good. It had some fantastic feuds, great mic work between Jericho and Rock, don't forget. Also, Austin's heel turn, I quite liked it. Different side to Austin. Of course, the build-up to the King of the Ring 2001 pay-per-view shows the best of his heel stuff right there. And it was just great to see RVD, Booker T, guys like that get over and stay on. It was worth it. Even though it was just a McMahon family circus by the end of it, it still showcased good stuff and showed that when you mix the wrestling and the entertainment together, you get a good product, because that's exactly what it did. And it also created the chance afterwards for Ric Flair to come back and for Jericho to become Undisputed Champion. So what more can be better than that? Now, 10 years on though, what can be learnt from WrestleMania XSeven? 1. You must hype Mania to the moon and back, regardless of what feud and matches are there, because you need to garner the interest. You need to get people excited. The wrestling fan like me loves WrestleMania because it's always going to deliver. Even if it doesn't in the end, you know you're going to be excited. But however, I will stress this, because this is directed towards Vince McMahon. Do not, and I'm going to repeat this again, do not use this will be the greatest WrestleMania of all time tagline, like you've done to pronounce what this WrestleMania is going to be. It is, the fans will judge that. The fans will judge whether a WrestleMania is the best of all time. And that is why this has been declared the greatest WrestleMania of all time for the best part of 10 years. You can see why. And number 2, choose an arena that will not overcome the event, basically by having a giant stage. I've said this before, I said it in my Wrestling Rant 9 video. You must not have a stage that's so big. It not only takes up a quarter of the capacity, but makes the arena look smaller, which therefore makes the spectacle even worse. WrestleMania 23 pulled this off perfectly, so did WrestleMania 24. 25's was just too big, and WrestleMania 26's was too small. Get it right like you did at WrestleMania XSeven, everything will be good. Number 3, keep backstage promos and non-wrestling involvement to a minimum. I mean, come on, look at what this event had. A promo with Kurt Angle, which meant 2 promos of Kurt Angle, one which got him in a cripple crossface by Benoit afterwards, a little skit with the APA, as 2 little backstage skits about the McMahons, flashbacks to Undertaker and Triple H, flashbacks to Rock and Stone Cold, plus also a few little speaking bits with people in the ring, and a few little referrals to the commentators. That's it. That is legitimately all the backstage promos there were. Think about it now. It's more backstage promo than wrestling, and we're getting pissed off. So, if you look back and think, what can be learnt from this? It's WrestleMania, leave the wrestling. Do not have too many promos, it'll clutter the show and waste your time, which therefore could cause matches like Punk Mysterio to go down the shitter and only last 6 minutes. Number 4, you do not need a big celebrity to sell a WrestleMania, because there was no big celebrities on this. The talent sold themselves, the matches sold themselves, the arena sold itself. Come on, I know WWE is desperate, but give them a break. This is the thing, you don't need a celebrity. If you got something big enough to sell for WrestleMania, like Rock Cena, you bloody put it on the card. And finally, if you give the right matches, the right time, and the right conclusion, they will be remembered. TLC 2 is remembered for its high spots. Austin Rock is remembered for the heel turn, as well as a big brawl. McMahon is remembered for the high-risk moves that Shane takes. Angle Benoit is known as a mat wrestling thing, and it got just enough time. Triple H Undertaker was a bit overdone, in my opinion, but that's just me. But still, it went over time a bit, but yeah. Anyway, that's my look back on WrestleMania X7, guys. It's not the best video I've done, but hey, I've already had to re-record this twice because my internet's fucked up. Anyway, if you like this and want to comment on anything I've said, please put it in the box down there. Please click the like button and please spread the video around. I'll be back on Monday for my WrestleMania results video. Tell me if it should be in parts or in one video. I need to know if you guys what you guys want. So have a good weekend. See you all next time.